Hey YouTubers, Chris here, KickingBassOutdoors.com. Just coming back at you, and I'm going to go over a couple little things today. We're going to go over some frogs, where and when to use them, how I use them, and I want to go over some jigs with you. So, you know, stay tuned, keep watching. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Florida. A little bit hot, but it's nonetheless, there's a slight breeze, and I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but I actually have my fan going facing me on my boat because it's a little humid out here. But I want to go over some, some frog stuff with you guys, and I want to go over some jig stuff, some trailers, when and how I use them. So let's get moving. But this one here has these little legs that each time you twitch this, the legs will stick out, and it looks, like a frog swimming in the water. These are great too, and again, has the weight at the back, so it's going to sit up a little bit like a normal frog. These things are great. You're going to throw these things over lily pads, run them through, weed edges, along the banks, off the points. These things are really good. And you just pop them. You just move them. So each time you pull them, give them a little jerk. They're going to swim. And it's very enticing for a bass because that's what he sees. When they look up, this is what they see from below. So it looks like a frog, if you ask me. I mean, personally, I wouldn't eat it, but they seem to like them. So go check these out. Pick one up. They're fairly cheap. You try one out, see how you like it. Put it in your my comments below and tell me what you thought of it and how you did on it. And again, just like the other frog, even this one, you can pick these up pretty cheap too. Let's see if I have, where it is. Alright. You can pick these up Walmart, Bass Pro, any place that has them. Now see, this one here is another one of my frogs. I'm going to show you the difference between this one and the other one. If you look at this one here, this one has the weight in the middle. So that's going to allow this to sit more flat. So when you do the walk the dog technique, once we get out in the water, I'm going to show you, how to do it. But as you're walking this frog, that center of gravity, which is in the middle now, it's going to be easier when it turns, back and forth, because the center's right there, and it's going to sit like this. This one here is going to fill up a little quicker with water, but each time you bring it in, just give it a couple squeezes, and it'll shoot the water out. Now I fish these on a medium heavy, and I use 20-pound braided. Sometimes, well, actually, I'm using 50-pound braided because when you throw these, because they're so weedless, you throw these in milfoil, or throw it up in the lily pads. You're gonna want something a little bit tough to be able to pull them out of there, because if they wrap themselves, a bass comes up and grabs this, they're gonna wrap themselves up in them stalks of the lily pads, and you're gonna want something a little meaty to pull them out of there. Because I'm telling you, when they get tangled up in there, you're in for a good fight. But like I said, I use a bait caster, 6-3-1. Right now I'm using Abu Garcia, and I have a 7-4 medium heavy rod and 50-pound braided spider wire. I love spider wire. I love Power Pro too. I think most of my rods and reels are all set up on braided lines. I like the feel of braided lines because they got a lot more strength. They don't really stretch. They do sink. Some of them sink, but I like them. It's good. It's a solid I like the combo I have. It may not be the best combo in the world, it may not be the perfect combo, it may not be what everybody else is using, but to me, it works, and I like the feel of it. I got two others here I'm going to go over. I want to show you these two too. These are pretty neat. This one here has this is like the normal frog I showed you, it's got the weight in the back, but this one here has I guess you can call this a foot. You see it here, it's got this foot that goes around, you know, as you're reeling it across the top of the water, and it causes a lot of wake, causes some bubbles, and it's very good at water displacement. It's almost the same concept, I should say, as the whopper plopper, because as you're reeling this is going to turn and it's going to displace a lot of water behind it, and it's very attracting to bass. So this one, all I do with this one, you know, is I just cast this out and I'll just a steady slow reel to bring it back in. I'll pause it, I'll stop it, you know, I'll give it a twitch here and there. It's very good. Like I said, it's also weedless. You know, this will fill up with water as well. Just squeeze it and it comes right out. This one's a white one. They have, you know, different colors. I have my black one. Black one's really good too. I like my black one. Same concept. And the other one I want to talk about is live targets. You know, that looks like a frog, and you know, it has the normal hooks. You know, it has the normal hooks that we always see on the frogs, two that wrap by the body. It's got the weight in the back, but this one also has a trailer on it. So that way, you know, when the bass come up and they go to grab this thing, it's right here. So if they go to grab the feet, they're going to grab the hook. And I like this one, and it does the same thing. These feet right here, you see them, they just spin around. Same thing as the last frog, causes a commotion in the water. It has a lot of water displacement. It's pretty good. They're weedless for the most part, you know. And same thing with these. I'll throw these in open water too, but I'll throw these coming off the banks, pulling them out towards the banks, along the points, weed edges. You know, anything where there's some matted vegetation, I'll run them around either on top or I'll run them around the edges of them, and it'll pull bass up to them. I like them. They're really good. They're very durable. They got a little bit of weight to them, but you know, they're good to cast. You know, that's just my take on my frogs. That's just some of the ones I use. I like the frogs because it's fun when you're doing topwater and you get them things blown up in topwater and you see that, you know, that explosion on the surface it's pretty intense. It's man, and at night, and you can hear it. You can't really see it most of the time, but you can hear it, and then you can feel that fish pull. It's pretty cool. It's a good feeling. Next time I'm going to go over a couple other things. I'm going to go over some jigs, and I want to go over some trailers. You know, just to give you guys just a couple little fundamental things of what I throw, and you guys go out there and give it a shot, try it out, see if you like it, let me know in the comments. You know. So the first jig we got here is just my regular pitching jig. This one I'll pitch, you know, I'll pitch this one in around weed edges, rock piles, you know, brush piles underwater, any little, you know, different contours underneath, you know, where it goes from shallow, and then there's a you know, an incline that goes to deeper. A lot of times bass will hang out there. Because if you remember, or if you don't know, bass are ambush fish. Bass they love to ambush prey. They'll hide somewhere, you know, until something comes by, and then they'll run out and they'll snatch it. But they also roam. They roam and they grab food, and you know, they'll eat. It's nice when you have a lot of dragonflies. You see the dragonflies skipping across the water. You'll actually see bass come up and grab them. Because a lot of times, dragonflies will stop for water. Bass is underneath. He sees it. He comes up and he snatches it. It's pretty cool. But anyway, back to, kind of got off track there. But back to the jigs. This one, you know, this is only 1/4 ounce. Actually, sorry, this is a 3/8 ounce. I usually don't throw anything bigger unless I really need to punch through a mat, because this will, it'll get through it, but the bigger the, like, I'll go 1/2 inch or 1/2 ounce, 3/4 of an ounce, sometimes even an ounce if I have to, just to get down through that vegetation. But this one here is, you know, it's black and blue. It's got a little bit of shine to it. It's got the weedless. A couple of things I want to go over real quick too with these jigs. A lot of jigs you get and a lot of jigs you find will be these jigs. The weed guard right here will be up here. Okay, and that's no good. You want this weed guard as close as you can to that hook, because it's inevitable for everybody when you're casting, somehow it gets, it could be an underwater tree branch, it could be an underwater, you know, a big stalk from a lily pad, but the weed guard up here, it always managed to get in there and it somehow wraps around, or you wind up hooking it. So with the weed guard down a little bit further, you don't have that problem. You can pull these things right through. This one also has some people call them bait tenders, some, you know, there's so many different names for them, but this little piece of wire right here, when you put your trailer on, which I'll go over a couple trailers here in a minute, when you put your trailer on, it's going to hold it on there. Here, matter of fact, we'll pull one out right now. Let's see, one of my favorites. I have a few favorites, but I'll try to match, you know. So this is one of my little creatures that I throw. It's from Yum, or this is from Zoom, I believe. But these are pretty cool. So, you know, when we put these on, what we're going to do is we're going to thread it through there like that. Okay, we're going to thread it up just a little bit more till it just about gets a little, almost to the end of where the hook bend is, and then we're going to pull that hook through right there. And then as you pull this up there, now if you see how that piece of wire right there, it's bent down into my trailer. So now this doesn't come off, this doesn't pull off, this won't go down, it holds it in place, and then that's what you get. And this right here, this works very well, especially if you're going to use this on a swim jig. This tail, these little fins back here, do a lot of water displacement. Very attracting to fish. They'll just go all over the place. So that's one of my setups that I use right there. You know, and jigs are, I like using jigs because jigs you can use any time of year. Jigs are fun. It's hard to, a lot of people say, well, you know what, I'll fish a jig, but I never get any bites, or I never know if I have a bite. Well, a couple things is, when you throw this out there and a bass is going to hit it, he's going to take it. There's, the only spot it could possibly be is in his mouth. So if you're reeling this in and you're working this jig on the bottom and it suddenly gets heavy, and you know that it's a different kind of heavy than if you're stuck in weeds or if you're stuck in, you know, on a branch, my advice to you would be set the hook, because there's probably a fish on the other end. Because once they grab a hold of this, it's in their mouth. They don't put it anywhere else, you know, unless, very seldom they'll just swim by and hit it, because most of the time they're just going to want to grab it. So jig fishing isn't the easiest thing in the world. It is sometimes hard, but you just have to be patient. It's a patient technique. I mean, you can't just throw a jig out there and be like, oh well, I expect to catch fish the second I throw it out there in the water. Well, it doesn't work that way. Just gotta be patient, give it a little bit of time, just keep practicing. You know, I can't guarantee you're gonna catch fish on this, but you have a very good chance. So that's the, you know, that's my black and blue one. A couple other trailers I like using. You know, these are the D-bombs. you know, different ones. This one here is a little bit heavy. It's got a lot of weight to it, but these things are pretty good, especially if you're throwing a jig. And I'll throw these things, you know, just put a 3/0 hook, a 3/0 hook, and a worm weight and a bead, and I'll fish it that way too. But you know, you can put them on the trailers as your jigs. You know, these are, you know, we have the other ones, we have the littler ones. These are power baits from Berkeley. I've got a couple other ones here. But you know, that's just a quick rundown on some of the, you know, the frogs and the jigs that I use. And you know, I'm not saying it's the best way to do it. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it. It's just my personal preference and my opinion as to how I do it, and it works for me. The techniques I use, you know, the pitching it, the flipping it, it works. There's one other thing I want to go over as far as jigs. I mean, there's so many things we can cover as far as jigs go, and how to fish them, what to use, what colors, so many. And I can make a, you know, another video on that part too, as far as colors go and sizes. But one more thing I want to go over with you is something else I use a lot. And this right here, this is it. You can tell the difference between that one and that one. See the different shape? See how this has like a teardrop type head on it, and this one has a flat head. This right here is what they call a swim jig, because it glides through the water very easily, and it'll, most of the time it glides through cover, you know, vegetation, stuff like that. It comes out pretty quick, you know. And again, like I said, see here on the weed guard, it's really close to the hook. That's what you want, as close to that hook as you can possibly get them, because that way you won't get snagged on everything that you pull this thing through, because it gets what's going to happen is you'll get stuck, and then you'll wind up pulling every single weed out of the river or lake that you're fishing, the body of water, just to get it back. Because, you know, losing lures, I will tell you, is not the funnest, but it happens. And you know, sometimes you get them back, sometimes you can get to them if you're in a boat, sometimes you can't. But anyway, this is a swim jig, and this little red thing you see on here is a rattle. You can use the rattles, you can't. They sell rattles that'll just hook onto there, like there's a rubber band that goes around there. Sometimes I'll use them, sometimes I won't. It, you know, makes no difference to me. But these are nice. You can throw these out, cast them. You can twitch them. You can make them swim. You know, you can keep them. You don't have to, you know, bounce these off the bottom like a lot of times you will a jig. You know, and again, you can put trailers on these too as well. Any kind of trailers on these, like. See, we'll put this one on here right here. This is one of my crayfish. Kind of weird looking, yeah, I know. So basically what we're going to do here is the same thing. You just push that weed guard out of the way a little bit, and you thread this thing up. Just thread it up till it's about almost where it hits the bend, the end of that bend on your hook, and then pull your hook back through. Now, when you have the skirts like this, what you want to do is you want to turn it upside down. Okay, so all your skirting material is running down. Push that up in there, and most of them here, they have that little tiny hook that's right in there that'll hold your bait in place. Okay, and then it runs right through there, straight on, and there you go. And yeah, some of these smell like garlic. It actually smells pretty good. Side note, don't eat them, because they don't taste like garlic. Because a lot of times, sometimes if I'm trying to change out a worm real quick, or I'll put a trailer on, I'll take, and I'm not advising this to anybody at home, because it's probably not the best practice in the world, but it's something I do sometimes, and everybody kind of looks at me like, ew, you're gross. But if this was too long, sometimes I will take and just bite off a piece. Naturally, I'm going to spit it out, but I'll bite off a piece so it's a little shorter instead of, you know, trying to find the scissors or trying to find cutters and cut it and all that. I'll just bite it off. Yes, I know. And no, they don't taste like they smell. And you know, it's common practice. A lot of people do it. A lot of pros do it. Just save a little bit of time. But yeah, on that side note, just don't eat it. They don't taste the way they smell. Trust me. They taste rather disgusting. But that's what I do sometimes, just to get something that, you know, that's bigger, and I need to get it down to more size. But back to the swim jigs. Swim jigs are fun. You can fish these in open water. Again, these can be fished anywhere, any time of year. You know, rivers, lakes, ponds, your backyard pond, whatever. But these things, you can fish them. You can just make them swim, and you know, the more action you can get on your trailer that displaces more water, the better off it's going to be, because it's going to attract more fish that way. Because it's very true that bass are excuse me, bass are sight hunters. You know, they'll use their eyes and they'll look and they'll see, but they also use their lateral line that goes down the side of those black spots. You know, this is for all those that aren't too familiar, but when you look at a bass, you'll see like the diamonds and then the black line. That black line is called a lateral line, and what that does is it picks up vibrations. And the more water displacement you have on your trailers, and it goes for any lure, even a crankbait with a lot of wobble and a lot of noise. If you're fishing at night or whatever, bass will pick up on that vibration through their lateral lines, and they'll be able to home in on that little bait. And you know, a lot of people say the bigger the bait, the more presenting it is, the bigger fish you can catch. True, it is true, but you know, if the fish are hungry and the bass is hungry, anything you can present to them that's going to look, you know, like whatever it is you're trying to match, they're going to eat it. So make it as lively as you can, make it as lifelike as you can. You know, do some twitching, let it fall. A lot of times strikes will happen on the fall because bass will do a lot of reaction strikes. So just pull it up, let it fall back down, and these will, you know, your trailer's going to do its magic as it's going down, and the skirt's going to do its magic. You know, and twitch it back up, let it fall. And you know, those are, jig fishing is easy. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of patience involved, but you know, it's fun. You can do it any time of year. Wintertime's great for it. Springtime, summers, you do it in the summer. It's a little harder summer, but because it's hot. Hence why I'm drinking iced tea. So that pretty much wraps up today's video for, you know, two of the things I wanted to go over. I'm going to go over, we're going to make some more, we're going to do some crankbaits, we're going to do some topwater, I'm going to do some, you know, worm, plastics. We're going to hook you up, and I'm going to show you some stuff for drop shotting, because drop shotting, in my opinion, I love drop shotting. Drop shotting is my go-to if fishing gets tough. I'll go to drop shotting because it's pretty easy to me it's pretty easy to do, and it's great if you're trying to find some fish, because sometimes the fish get finicky and yeah, it drives you nuts. But drop shotting is one of my go-tos. I love drop shotting, and I'll go over some, you know, wacky worming. Wacky worm is another one. I won a couple tournaments, very last few minutes in the tournaments, using a wacky worm by docks. Fish absolutely go berserk over a wacky worm. We'll show you how to rig them, hook them up. So stay tuned. You know, we're going to have more videos posted, more to come. There's going to be some really cool action. I got some tournaments coming up. We're going to be videoing some tournaments. We're going to be, a couple days, we're going to be getting out on the water, and we're going to be videoing on the water. I'm going to show you some, you know, how I fish some of these things we talk about. Ew, it's hot. It's very humid today. So we're going to go over all that, and like I said, a lot of videos are coming. You guys are going to be excited. You guys just hang in there, and please hit that subscribe button that's down below. It really helps us. The more people I can get to subscribe, you know, the more videos I can get up there. You know, maybe we can start talking about some of the things that you guys leave comments down below. Start making some videos on that. Don't forget to hit your like if you like what you see, and please hit your notifications, turn them on. That way, anytime new videos are uploaded, you guys will get notified and you'll be able to watch them. Again, Kicking Bass Outdoors.com. It's our website. It's still kind of we're still kind of getting it built. We're working on it though. We're gonna have some cool and exciting stuff on there. Go check out some of our sponsors. We got, Titan Tungsten. Go check out them. They got some really cool worm weights. They're all tungsten. They're very cool, and they just started. We're gonna start making them in good old USA here soon. So it'll be all American made. Go check out Vector Hooks. VectorHooks.com. They got some amazing hooks. I use their hooks for all my soft plastics and for my drop shot. They are excellent. They have very good hooks. They're very stout, very sturdy hooks, and very, very sharp. So please be careful. Go check out Topwater Blowouts. They have some great frogs and some great lures. Go check them out. You'll see. They have some really cool stuff. You can get apparel. You can get hooks. You can get everything. Don't forget, check us out on Instagram. Kicking Bass Outdoor on Instagram, and we have a Facebook channel, Kicking Bass Space Outdoors on Facebook. Come check us out. Pop in, type a little something in there, let us know you were there. As always, guys, hit that subscribe. Keep us going here, and we'll make some cool videos. There's a lot more to come. So hang tight, stay cool, and go catch them. Till then, see ya.